welcome to the latest episode of Enterprising Minds. We got Alex and Dave present today. Thank you, everybody, for liking and subscribing to this date, sharing the podcast, and signing up for the Pathways newsletter. We greatly appreciate all that interaction, and it's totally self-serving, but it's fun to see the numbers go up and to the right. So thank you, everybody. We definitely appreciate it. And if you want an open dialogue, find us on LinkedIn or any of the places that I already talked about. So on today's show, even though it's a digital marketing podcast, I'm going to talk about the physical reality and operating inside of it. And Alex, you have your own interesting topic, which I think we'll kick off with. So.
All right, we can get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there has been a number of advancements with AI and LLMs and then basically how we use them. So if you go back to like the very bare beginnings, prompt engineering became the phrase, right? And then trying to make sure that you have the perfectly crafted prompt, and there's tons of people trying to sell or give away 100 different prompts for you to use. Anyways, all that kind of stuff. Basically, it works to some degree, and it was far more useful then than it is now. Still useful today, definitely. But
You're talking the prompts or the AI?
The prompts. Those were very, very prescriptive, and some of them are completely pointless because the models are smart enough that you don't have to start with this whole,
Right.
very specialized prescriptive prompt. And then now we're kind of moving into this world of agents. So more pre-trained mini models, I would almost say. I mean, it's the same model, but it's just kind of personalized and fit to this, particular use case. And as I've been building them and as I keep exploring them, I'm starting to hit this point where the next model release that comes out, even like the last ones, like 4.8 from Claude and even 4.7, Opus 4.8 and 4.7, they're great, honestly. Like I started comparing in unguided, just kind of general, no instructions, pretty clean build, right, of Opus and versus one that's kind of like a whole bunch of like best practice documentation in like, markdown files, all the kind of like the standard kind of check boxes are there, right? The instructions are solid. It's been tested heavily. It works. But also with the untrained model, it's pretty darn close. So I'm starting to get to this point of what's the continued purpose of these agents, or is just, what the agent is about needs to become far more difficult or specialized or, these niche like use cases. But then it also brings into the point of like, how much time are you spending building these things versus just how much is it saving you time? Because the more specialized they get, the time savings drops off.
Right.
You get something that you do every single day, 5 times a day. Well, that's fantastic. I mean, you're going to have tons of time savings in a month. That's easy. But if it ends up being like, oh, well, I need this one specific agent to do this one really random task that I do twice a year, just do it. There's no point in building an agent, right? You start to like hit that line. So I don't know. I don't know if it's just me kind of coming to terms with stuff or just kind of spitballing of where do these things go right now as agents. Do we still see them as being as valuable as they were, or is there kind of a next level that they need to get to? What's your thoughts?
Honestly, I've been thinking. Okay, there are a couple of different ways that I'm going to go with this.
Yeah.
I've been thinking in my own experience that like I'm less and less excited about a new model release because the old ones are already really good. They're already doing the vast majority of what I want them to do, right? Time is still a problem for me, right? I think we talked about this in the last episode, just the burnout that you get from having all these different agents doing all of these things because you got to keep track of all the things that they're doing.
Yeah.
and then while they're working, you're trying to do something else, so you're split or you're jumping back and forth, and I'm finding myself being really much more intentional on what do I need to go deep in, what do I want to go deep in, right?
Hmm.
And then how can I have these help me with things that I would otherwise deprioritize,
Yeah.
right? Now I don't know about you, but my coworkers are still very much at the beginning. Like, I mean, I introduced a coworker of mine to the fact that, hey, we have Copilot finally, and you can have it summarize your unread emails. And they're like, "Oh my God, what?" It's like, okay, cool. You're being introduced. You're on the wagon now. You're on the path. Um, but that to me has been table stakes for like what, 2 years, right? I mean, something like that. So it's like, okay, not everybody's there. And then I've been seeing some things in the news, but then also from people around town that I've been having get-togethers with or conversations with, where the backlash from students on AI. You saw Eric Schmidt being booed at a commencement speech that he did.
Yep.
Um, um, Plus, there's just that natural aversion to people changing the way that they do things. So part of me feels like, and maybe this is just my mood of the day, which I'm open to that feedback. But it feels like the diehards are going to continue to be diehard. The average user is going to continue to upskill a little bit because, oh, hey, I could do this a little bit faster, and I hate typing emails, but great. This can summarize a quick email to my boss, and my boss thinks I'm working on stuff, right? Um, Wonderful, because I'm guilty of not sending those emails, right? Typically. So where I struggle is coming off of the Google I/O conference and watching that, and you get all of this hype and all of this. We're going to be in a post-cancer universe. It's like, that would be wonderful. Are we there yet? No. Do we have a roadmap to get there? No. Do we but it's like, that's a great story for shareholders,
That was such a
but
hype.
for the normal people,
Oh my gosh. Even some of the product releases that were released don't work, which
right?
is,
Or they're not connected to one another.
yeah, which is
Yeah.
like the second or third year in a row that they've
Yeah.
released things that are like, it's now available. And it's like, well, in like 3 months' time, it'll be available to maybe the US market. And then, like, well, I don't know, we'll do a pilot in Australia and then eventually maybe Europe. And then it's like, oh my gosh, your roadmap is years. And they're like, oh,
Hmm.
it's available globally today. No, no, it is not.
Yeah. No, because we want that. Yeah, 0.2% boost on the stock price.
I know,
Yeah.
based upon verbiage instead of reality.
Yeah. So I think for me, I think there is that big split between the narrative with Wall Street and then the reality on the ground, and it feels like that gap is continuing to widen for me. Um, um, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at, and I think the other big thing that is in the news recently are the IPOs, the initial IPOs. Now, granted, I will just say, because I'm friends with a lot of lawyers, this is not investing advice. This is purely entertainment. Talk to your own financial advisor. But personally, SpaceX looks like a disaster to me. Um, Claude is more interesting to me in the long term. But the initial bump, man, I don't know. That feels like, wait 3 days for the initial dip and then buy the dip. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I have,
But what are your thoughts on the IPOs? Because I know.
I actually have concerns about Claude, um, OpenAI, any of them with their IPOs.
Hmm.
Um, Listen to a bit of a contrarian economist, but I have to say I agree with the overall thought of basically comparing this to the telecom market, where you
Yep.
have an incredible technology that gets released, amazing things are built in value off of it,
Right.
but the technology itself isn't worth a whole lot. I mean, that's
Right.
the thing is like the amount of people who are connected via cell phones and the amount of connections and the connection speed and quality, it's all skyrocketing and it has been for 15, 20 years. Like it's an amazing path. However, I don't think
Hmm.
of Sprint, T-Mobile, AT&T, you name it, Vonage. I mean, it doesn't matter where on earth you are,
Right.
don't care. I mean, and if you look at the stocks, also, nobody really seems to care as well. But the technology that they're creating is phenomenal, but it's a base layer. It's a
Right.
utility. And even Apple on top of it goes up and down quite a bit. And gotta say, innovation wise, those things have kind of slowed down a bit.
Yeah.
Stocks are decent, but still, like, you got a limitation there. And then the thing that's actually building value off of it really becomes TikTok, Facebook. I mean, what became Meta with Instagram. I mean, like the valuation that basically happened due to the ability of what cell phones generated was really where the money was at. It wasn't so much
Right.
on like, hey, we're putting up more cell phone towers and everybody's tracking where the next cell phone tower is going to go up. Like, we don't care about that. But we do
Right.
care about data centers for AI companies. Like, if you think about like what a utility kind of like topic, like who this that always kind of cut me as pretty funny. It's like, man, of all the sci-fi novels I ever read, there was AI all over the place, but nobody talked about the complaints of AI data centers. Like that never came
Right.
up.
Right.
Like, so once you talk about these utility factors of just like, this is just a part of it, then you start to look more and more like just a cog in a machine versus you know, the amazing, experience that is this all-knowing, all-seeing,
Hmm.
all-powerful tool.
Yeah. Cue Pink Floyd.
Yeah, I
Welcome to the
know.
machine. Yeah.
I mean, on the other hand, it's fantastic also that these tools, the very best of the best, are available globally for 20 bucks a month. And that's
Right.
amazing. I mean, it's not stuck in some giant corporation's locker and only the giant, largest of corporations ever get access to it. I mean, we're kind of looking at IBM Watson right now, but that sort of experience, right? Instead, it's
Hmm.
20 bucks a month. That's it.
Well, and there was, I don't know if you listened to the Paul Reutzer AI Market Institute, AI Marketing Institute. Um, that podcast this week, they were talking about some of the headlines that were in various publications around CFOs looking at how much they're spending on tokens and how they're blowing through the AI budgets, and then they're
Yep.
realizing, actually, you know what? People might be cheaper.
Correct.
Yeah. And you know what? We get more loyalty and a longer,
Yeah.
turnaround. And, it's interesting that kind of all these things are coming into focus because,
Yeah.
I mean, there definitely was, oh my God, this is new technology. We have to
Right.
figure it out. We have to figure
Right.
it out. Like, whatever. Um, but also, I mean, just how many people do you know that, I mean, for $20 a month, you could do a whole bunch of stuff that would basically be a personal assistant, right?
Yep.
And it would free up a bunch of your time and your thoughts, and it's wonderful.
Right.
But then, how many people do you know are just not? They're just not. And then you start talking to them, and you're like, oh, you know what? You could actually have a 3 month meal plan in about 30 minutes
Yep.
instead of spending your Saturday doing it. I mean, unless you like being really, really specific like that.
Yeah.
Um,
If you do, great.
yeah. And so I think, one of the analogies that I used way back when we first started talking about this was like, to me, AI seemed um like frozen dinners in the grocery store. I was like, okay, for some people that is good enough,
Hmm.
right? Your doctor's not going to be happy with it. It's not life affirming, right? You're not going to be happy with yourself. when you're eating them, but they serve a purpose, right?
Sure.
And that's great. If you want an enjoyable experience, or you prioritize quality of food, or what the food does to your body, whatever, like, then you're going to pay for more premium ingredients, premium experience with, like, world-renowned chefs, or maybe you go to the avant-garde side of things, and then then it's jazz, and it's like, that was an experience, but you know what? I just want a good burger. I don't need nitrogen in my ice cream. Just give me the fucking ice cream. Right? And it was, yeah, I think that still applies for me. With certain things, if I care about it enough, I'm going to have that. I'm going to allow a certain amount of friction in my life so that I can be good at something, or that I can say that it's at a quality that I like, right? Whereas if I look at a huge, research paper that I really only need one fact from, AI is great, I don't know. I'm feeling kind of rambly today, so please jump in whenever.
I was going to say, one other kind of offshoot of that, the conversation as well, is speaking of token usage. That's one thing I'm definitely been diving hard into, is trying to keep the token level down.
Are you paying for extra or no?
I have been avoiding it so hard, and it has been difficult, especially with like the side projects of like the book writing and all the other kind of stuff that's going on as well. Like,
Yeah.
I've been doing a ton of, I gotta say, AI only administrative work. So cleaning up
Same.
projects, creating markdown files, like reducing context windows and trying to save as much as possible and stuff like that. Like, it's stuff that I think will be probably hilarious in 5 years. People will be like, what? Context window
Yep.
of 1 million characters? Are you kidding me? It's 1 billion now, and it's like, why
Yeah.
would you even
How
waste your
cute.
time? You wasted hours doing this. Yeah, right. I mean, it's like, when flash drives were cool because they were a gig or less, even, right?
I actually ran across one of those in the back of my junk drawer the other day, and I was like, "Oh man, I couldn't even put a PDF on this now." Like,
Right. I'll put the first image of a PowerPoint deck on this. I just need 26 more.
yeah, only the first couple of SpaceX rocket photos on there.
The planet photos from their handout. You
Yeah,
see that in
exactly.
the investor guide? It was just photos of planets. I was like,
The
"Ooh,
first ever
the
investor
investor
picture
thing."
book.
Yeah. Selling the dream. Selling the dream. Yeah. No, it's as token usage kind of goes up, and then trying to optimize all those files and stuff like that, it does always kind of, it gets me back down to that same point that you're just making of, like, where's that level of friction, and then when does the selling become not of value? And I've been hitting that, especially with the book project, because now with the number of chapters I've written, it blows its context window by reviewing
Just trying to
files.
remember stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
and then trying to check, like, if I do a continuity check, man, that's like the end of the session for the night. Like, that's it. Like, it's just gonna kill it. So, it's. I've even been going back to ChatGPT's, trying to, you know, dual load basically the same project. Hasn't really been working, if not surprising. But
Yeah.
trying to basically kind of keep both of them in pace with each other through instructions and files and stuff like that, of trying to basically kind of dual between the two of them before I start paying for extra. But
Yeah, it's interesting because I pay for all three, and I keep thinking how I need to just not pay for all three. But then I keep finding these situations where it's like, oh, I was on a groove with Claude, and now I'm out.
yeah,
Okay, switch over to ChatGPT, blah, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah, blah, blah. Right? And like I have some stuff with Gemini, but I'm finding Gemini is more of my sort of everyday personal assistant
okay,
kind of thing because it's on the phone, it's got my emails,
okay,
is much more of the personal thing, and I'm like falling into that kind of groove with that. Where
yeah,
Claude and ChatGPT are very much more work or creative idea kind of things.
Interesting.
There's something about Google where it's like they've coded it so that the answers are like always short.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've got
And
that in
outside of a work
production.
context, that's great.
Yeah.
When I'm playing with an idea or I want you to help me write something or, I don't want brevity then, right?
Oh,
I want the
sure.
long answer and then I
Sure.
want to edit it down from
Yeah.
there. But that's my own personal preference and workflow, right? Um, Give me the whole thing and then we'll take out the unnecessary stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Have you been shifting models within those different subscriptions as well? Because that's the other thing
yeah,
that
I've
I did
been
too.
I've been playing around with that because like it's interesting. So AI, at least for my friends, uh, everybody's got a book project now, which is awesome and hilarious. Because
Great
we have,
competition.
yeah, it's kind of like wow, okay.
Ah,
Um, and so it's cool because one of us actually like published something. So go check it out. Phyllis Welch uh, just wrote a book, and she's an awesome human being. So go support her. Um,
she did. That's awesome.
yeah. Um, so Opus 4748 is wonderful for the creative, huge book kind of writing project stuff. That is great. I'm using Sonnet for more of the conversations and like brainstorming because I don't need a huge amount of logic there. I just need you to punch some holes into my thinking or
Yeah.
categorize what it is I'm saying or whatever else, right? Um, what actually I have been finding recently, and the limitations are the best thing for creativity, right? So in my day job, we don't have these nice things, so that's forcing me to use the internal one, and that's fine. I mean, at least there's something, right? Flip side of that though is I need to get a lot of my ideas out in a short amount of time, um, into a formatted thing. So one of the ways that I've been working recently to get most of my ideas down is I run on Mac almost exclusively. So there's the voice memos app, and I have it on my phone, I have it on my computer, I have it on my iPad, I have it on my personal computer. So I'm using the voice memos, and I just talk, and then it automatically transcribes it, and it's just in that app. And I grab that transcript and I put it in, and I just say format this for an email. Keep this as for your memory. These are the projects that I'm working on because I have too many projects for my short-term memory to be effective, right? So I'm just like, I need you to be a project manager. Here's everything. Format it, track it. Here are the daily updates, and I keep that tab open. So then as I'm going through the day, I can say, this is the update to that. This is the update to that. Give me 3 things I could do right now based on everything. I got 15 minutes. Give me something I could do in 15 minutes. And then that way it's just boom, 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 boom. I'm staying active. I'm keeping everything moving. And it's a way to work more quickly with a limited use, which is interesting for me because then, going to Google I/O or seeing these model releases and being like, here's all these crazy new things you can do. And it's like, yeah, I don't know that I need that though. Like,
Dave, you're not
at least
curing
not
cancer in your
yet.
15 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, because time is still a problem, and like
Yeah.
biology, like my brain can only handle so much in a day,
Yeah.
and if I hit that at noon, my butt's still got to be in that seat. You know, I
Man,
can't just, I can't just go away. Um,
I definitely
yeah,
foresee a future where people's teammates are just, and managers are just AI. Like, if that's what it takes to kind of keep people going, moving, you could totally see, you
mhm.
got cheerleader teammates and everybody else getting you and keeping you going on whatever it is that's trying to get done.
You're amazing. Along those lines, if you have an AI boss, do you get in trouble for swearing at him then?
Yeah, probably.
Or do you think they look past that since it's a robot?
I bet it
Asking
collects,
for a friend.
I bet it collects everything and then pulls a sentiment analysis. Be like, yes, we're seeing a lack of productivity after 1 p.m.
Yeah.
Also, general negative stance after meetings with these people.
Hmm. You appear to be a jerk.
We've detected a potential future workplace violation. Yay.
Yeah, Minority Report for
Exactly.
workplaces. Yeah, that's
Via
lovely.
sentiment analysis.
Yeah. Based on your YouTube search history, these comedians.
Yeah, right.
uh, no, thank you. No,
Yeah,
thank you.
that's going to be an interesting world.
Yeah,
To,
and it's interesting because like I hear things from from friends that are on the agency side or consulting side where they're like, "Man, I don't know what we're gonna do," right? But then I talk to some friends that are on the small business side. Either they only own their own things, or they are in charge of running all the marketing or whatever for their own the small thing, and they're like, "I don't know what to do." So there's this weird mismatch of the knowledge is there,
yeah,
nobody knows what to do with it, nobody's confident enough to like explore it.
right.
And I keep going back to, I was listening to Kendrick Lamar the other day, as you do. Um, and there was a quick line in one of the songs of, um, you know, knowledge is not intelligence. Or no, it's the other way around. Intelligence is not knowledge. And I was like, oh, that totally explains AI for me. Just because you have all the stats doesn't mean anything, right? There's no, you don't know what to do with it. You just know
Right.
it, right?
Sure.
And if you
Yeah.
apply it incorrectly, well, guess what? You're still gonna have bad results because there was no taste, there was no experience to help guide it. There's no whatever. I mean, that's the
Right.
human element to me that really comes into this. Where like, okay, cool, we have the complete knowledge of Alexandria 2.0 right now,
Yeah.
um, and yet it feels like 90% of people are just creating cat videos instead of actually doing something useful, right?
Can I bring a really weird and strange example that fits
Absolutely,
this?
that's the point of this.
Google Rewards. If you've been invited to their program, it
Mm-mm.
is a bizarre little program. And what it it is a mix between um, some of the Google Express and some of their kind of small business accelerator programs, if you're familiar with the
Mm-hmm.
Google My Business side of things, or
Right.
the very quick and fast, form of advertising that they've been pushing like crazy to small businesses, which is like, we'll handle everything. Just type in your website and hit enter and give us money. Which I'm sure the success rate is just fantastic with things that are completely
Right.
unguided
But
when
that's
people have no
that's
idea what
because
they're
you
doing.
know what you're doing.
Yeah, clear.
So
Yeah, I know. So the Google Rewards program, if you get into that, they have all their automated recommendations, which if anybody's had a history with paid search, you know how bad their automated recommendations are.
hmm
But if you click them and apply them in
right.
their nice little formatted website, which just shows you each of the recommendations, and you just click it, you get points. And those points then can get redeemed for pens and mugs and backpacks and Herman Miller chairs and a PS5 if you get enough points. So you click all these things, you gain all these points, you burn your actual business and ad account, and
Right.
you get a
I'm gonna
PS5.
say it's cheaper to just buy the Herman Miller chair.
I got no leads, but man, I got this sweet PS5. I was like, man, I should go back to the agency side. What am I doing? I'm gonna collect all these gift cards, clicking these things and then undoing them because, dear God, that's a dumb idea. You do have to keep them active for like 30 days to get the points, so that won't work.
But I mean, that is,
It's
I
like,
do feel like there's going to be a lot of the consulting for those who can hold on
yeah,
will be cleaning up the AI stuff.
yeah, it
But
will be.
we don't have enough experience with the AI only campaigns yet to fully understand how much work there is going to be of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've been running PMAX campaigns, especially anything lead gen, you'll know that pain because, yes, they can find, I don't know if it's even individuals, I'm pretty sure it's bots that will fill out leads. They will do it and they'll optimize to that. But then it's
Do you
just all,
think this is the business equivalent of taking health advice from TikTok influencers? You just need turmeric with a little black pepper
yeah, you got to,
because it
you can't forget the
activates it.
black pepper.
Yeah,
And sometimes
you
salt,
need the
I
black
mean,
pepper.
for seasoning. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's just like this generic crap advice, which, I mean, getting back to your point of like just using straight AI for a very uneducated, unintentional kind of purpose, you're going to get something really generic and really basic. It
Hmm.
does take quite a bit to provide all that context, like your voice memos, talking about the active projects and the updates to them, not just like general context, right? Because they'll
Right.
write a professional email, but it might not be your tone and voice at all. If you include
Right.
enough of your tone and voice, then yeah, then it's there. It finally gets the context, right? And or you have these mass-produced, pushed like crazy, overhyped machine learning systems that are just not that good.
Right.
And then
And I
people
think
come back with like, oh, it doesn't work. They just write off the
right.
entire category, which, I mean, you and I have spoken at that at length of all the times we run
Yeah.
into clients who are like, oh yeah, paid search doesn't work for us. It's like, come again?
It, yeah.
Oh, you did it poorly and it didn't work.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love the marketers who are just like, well, it should work this way. It's like, well, yeah, I should be skinny, but here we are. Like,
I'm glad we live in a world of shoulds.
yeah,
How about
exactly.
actual reality? Let's switch.
Yeah. So, okay, it's on me. I know I need to do better. I'm working on it. You know, but man, yeah, I think so. As an example, right? Because people like case studies. So you know how whenever you go on a vacation, you're like, all right, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna relax, but then you forget about the 2 days before you go on vacation where you got to wrap everything up or like prep everybody for how you're gonna be gone because they want to seem like they're gonna cover for you, but really they're just not gonna. They're not gonna be helpful. But you appreciate the effort. So I found myself in that situation recently. And like I said, I have too many projects to keep my memory straight, right? So I'm just like, all right, I find a meeting room, I book it out, I sit down, I turn on the voice memo, and I just start talking. And I go, I'm running through all of this because I need to update my team on everything that's going on, the status of every project, what they need to watch out for over the next week while I'm gone, yada, yada, yada. 48 minutes later, I get the transcript and then I put it in and I'm just like, this better not like truncate anything because I literally don't have time to do that again. And I just put it in and I'm like, and it's like, okay, great. And I categorize it because, my brain is like all over the place so, a lot of times where you just start talking and then you free associate. You're like, oh yeah, and that, and then that, and then that. But it ended up being really nice because like for the last month or so, I've been telling my boss like, hey man, this is too much. Like I can't, like I need help. Right. So I send him the email after I have AI put it into a format that I can email my boss. And he goes, hey, this is too much. I'm like, yeah, I've been telling you.
Welcome to my world. All right.
Yeah, like, but here it is. It's documented. Now you've experienced it. But then that became the foundation for the project management piece, because it was like I literally went through everything, and that became the context for everything, moving forward. And that has been really super helpful, right? Because how many times are you sitting there with like 400 unread emails, and then you have all the Teams chats or the Slack chats or whatever else, and you're just like, man, I can't keep sense of all this. That project management piece, that addresses that really specific personal need that I think most people who haven't tried yet really need to just be exposed to something like that, right? Because I have a couple coworkers where they've taken the initiative to actually sit down and ask me like, hey, how could I do X, Y, Z? And so, hey, let's talk. Let me show you how I'm using it. This is how you can go. And then about 15 minutes in, I realized they're not paying attention anymore because their brain melted. And it's just like, okay, let's go get a coffee. We'll come back to this. I think if I just say it like 4 times, I think it will maybe stick in your head. Right? But they need to be able to try it. So, yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting with all of the things that we've talked about. The backlash, the the new grads piece is front of mind just because the new summer intern group started recently. So it's great, fresh energy, but they're being forced into talking about AI, and you can tell none of them are really excited to talk about AI. Yeah. But it's like, but you're one of the lucky ones. You have an internship. You know? Anyway, like I said, I was feeling kind of rambly, so save me, please.
Well, that's actually a good wrap-up point too, because that is, current state. We've
Right.
talked about hype cycles with the Google I/O. We talked about the IPOs and the fanciful versions of, the future that, those always proclaim to be. We will be doing this amazing thing, so please invest in us, right? It has to be
Right.
pitched that way. That's just the way that they work.
Yeah, that's the
But
game.
exactly, but it ends up being this. I kept calling it like the rubber ball bouncing of the AI hype cycle, because you get this bounce. It goes way up in the air like the Google I/O thing,
Right.
and then about 2 weeks later, once all the podcasts and all the commenters hit, that ball hits the ground because they're like, yeah, reality is it doesn't work, and maybe if you read the fine print, it'll be released eventually. So but that's the piece that I think keeps bouncing out there for the grads as well, and as companies, especially as the CFOs, start to realize, is this actually providing a whole lot of value? And then to my point, last episode of the episode before was talking about AI is not a competitive edge because
Right.
everyone has it. $20 a month, and 40 minutes later, I can get the exact same image that you created. That is not a moat. That did nothing for you. Like, you want to write on a massive, highly segmented, many hundreds of ads campaign? I can do it too in $20 and 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no moat there either. So it's not a competitive edge. So it's not really replacing people. It's not really doing the job of other people. It's supplemental at best. It's efficiency
Yeah.
here and there. And it's, again, to the point you keep making about the coworkers, only available to those who actually use it.
Right.
So it's a tool. It's a great tool, but it's just a tool. And
And
that hype
I keep
cycle.
trying to find circumstances where I'm like, what would I be willing to fully automate?
Yeah.
And honestly, throughout the entire customer journey, there's not much.
Yep.
The creation of ideas, like getting something to react to, yeah, sure. But then I want to polish them because I know who we're targeting, or I know,
No.
I'm empathetic towards the target audience and what they need, and yeah. So it's like there's not much that I would want to totally automate, and it's interesting because I don't know if you saw this because algorithms are all different. Some of the SEO guys that we like to follow have started posting case studies of people who have implemented the AI advice on AdWords or
Yeah.
on their website, and they're
Yeah.
seeing it work either for a short period of time and then it crashes,
Yeah.
or it's a slow trend down because it's no longer unique. It doesn't have a point of view. It doesn't have additional information. It doesn't, like, yeah. So, yeah, having taste, having a point of view is still the differentiator.
That
But
in
you need to have the
reality.
confidence to do that.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, I was going to talk about meeting in person, but we're short on time. So I'll just put a plug out there. The stuff that I have felt really, really, really good about recently has been all in a coffee shop or a restaurant, talking to new people, finding out about their career journeys, connecting on some nerdy thing like guitar pedals. So just keep doing that. Use AI to carve out 30 minutes so that you can have 30 minutes with a human. I'll just pitch that as a to-do between now and the next episode of Enterprising Minds. Thank you for listening, for sticking around. Thoughts, comments, and questions, guys. We're looking for that. We love the feedback. So please comment, like, share it. Find us on LinkedIn or on enterprisingminds.com. And until next time, take care and keep having fun.
Cheers.